Hi, I'm Jamie Smart, and over the next 6 or 7 minutes, I'm going to be sharing some information with you that could really make a big difference to you going forward. And this is stuff that I call head smackers. It's things that you may not really have thought about until now, but the moment you see them, the moment you hear them, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's so obvious. And the nice thing about that is, as you get a feel for it, it'll start making a difference for you right away. And if you want to take it further, I'll show you how to do that too. And so I've got some stories, I got some metaphors, and I got some distinctions that I want you to just, evaluate against your own experience and make your own mind up about these things. So without further ado, basically, I've worked with a bunch of people in different domains, ranging from corporate to people starting their own businesses, to coaching clients, to therapeutic clients, to, right across the board. And there are three patterns I've seen coming up again and again. And the funny thing is, these patterns, these desires, these yearnings, reflect a deeper intelligence, a deeper wisdom. And I was walking through London a while back, and I saw these boards around a building site, and I looked through them, and there was this huge hole that had been dug into the ground, enormous, like the size of a city block. And I realized that they were building an enormous skyscraper, and these were the foundations, and they went way down into the ground. And I realized that they must be building a really huge skyscraper, because the further up you want to go, the deeper and the more solid the foundations need to be. And what I see in the personal development world and the kind of success world and that sort of thing is people who really want to build a really big skyscraper, but they haven't got the foundations in place. And the foundations are reflected in these three yearnings, these three desires that I'm going to tell you about. And the first one is purpose. And whether you call it a sense of direction or a sense of focus, a sense of clarity, that desire for a sense of purpose, the desire to be going in the direction that you want to be going in. I'm talking about, waking up in the morning, knowing what you're about, knowing who you are, knowing what you're about, knowing the direction you want to go in, knowing what you want to do with your day and what you want to do with your life. So that's the first one of these yearnings. And the thing is, when people aren't clear on that, when they don't have that sense, and they're kind of feeling like they're looking for it, it's hard for them to make progress in the way they otherwise would. And that brings us to the second pattern that I've seen again and again and again. People have a desire to be productive. They want to be making progress on the stuff that matters to them, even if they don't know what that stuff is yet. Over the years, people often marvel at my productivity because I've created tons of products and courses and that sort of thing. And they're like, how do you manage to motivate yourself? And I'm like, well, I don't. I'm just motivated. I'm motivated because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. But here's the thing. It wasn't always that way. And I got to tell you a story. This happened back in 2008. I'm smiling now, but I wasn't smiling then. Basically, I got the idea into my head that I would really know that I was successful if I could take a 3-month skiing holiday. So I got my business all set up so that it could run without me, and I took off to Whistler in Canada for 3 months of skiing. And after 6 weeks, I was fed up. I was bored, I was distracted, I was unfulfilled, I was uneasy. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And the reason was I'd been looking outside myself for a sense of aliveness. I've been looking to the world of experience and the world of accomplishment and the world of, bragging rights to get a rich experience of life. Now here's the thing. My experience of life was a lot better than it had been 20 years before that when I was drinking alcoholically. But I still wasn't having a rich experience of life. I was caught in the hidden hamster wheel. I was caught in the I'll be happy when trap. And it brings me to the third pattern that I see people looking for, which is a sense of peace of mind, a sense of feeling comfortable in your own skin, a sense of well-being, call it what you want, clarity. And that's what I didn't have. Now, what I didn't know at the time is that when it comes to peace of mind, when it comes to purpose, when it comes to productivity, there's only one thing that's ever standing in the way of those things. And the funny thing is, someone can go searching for their purpose. They're like, oh, I'm looking for my purpose, I'm looking for my purpose. Not realizing that the very process of looking for it is standing in the way of them finding it. In fact, the only thing that ever stands in the way of us feeling a sense of comfort in our own skin and peace of mind, being able to be productive, having that sense of direction, the only thing that ever stands in the way is a superstition, a misunderstanding about the way life works and about the way our minds work. And so I've spoken to a lot of people about this over the last few years. My experience at Whistler, my experience of being unfulfilled, even though I'd created what I'd always dreamed of in terms of doing what I loved and creating a business that gave me time freedom and lifestyle and all that sort of stuff. I had the trappings of a lifestyle, I had the circumstances of a great lifestyle, but I didn't have a good mental and emotional lifestyle. And it turns out that these things are fundamental to living your most inspiring, your most beautiful, your most fulfilling life. It's peace of mind, it's sense of purpose and direction, it's the ability to be productive. And what's behind all of those is an understanding of how life works. And so, like I say, I've spoken to a lot of people about this over the last few years because my experience at Whistler led me to go on a journey of my own for the time since then till now, and discover something new about the way that life works and the way that mind works. And so I'm delighted to announce, for the first time in 12 months, I'm going to be running one of my big events. And the title of this big event is Purpose, Productivity, and Peace of Mind. And in it, we're going to be rolling back the cover on this superstition, on this misunderstanding, and really allowing you to see inside and get a deep understanding for yourself. And just to get an idea of what I mean by understanding, like what's so great about understanding, you may be saying. But if you imagine for a moment, imagine a dog chasing its tail, right? So this dog's running around chasing its tail. It's pretty funny. If you could talk to the dog and ask the dog what it needed, it would say, well, first of all, I need speed. I need to be able to run faster because this thing I'm chasing, it's really fast. It's ever so fast. And say, number two, I could do with being more agile because no matter how, cool moves I pull or anything like that, it always jumps out of the way in time. It's very, very agile. And say, number three, I could do with better strategy because it always seems to be one step ahead of me. Now, you and I know that all the dog really needs is understanding. All it needs is to know that that's its tail that it's chasing. And the moment it understands that, it'll go, and it'll relax. And it'll, stop burning so much energy and be able to take its time to do stuff that really makes a difference to it. But while it's chasing the tail, while it doesn't have that understanding, it thinks it needs other stuff, thinks it needs tactics, thinks it needs speed, thinks it needs other things, when all it really needs is understanding. I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, oh yeah, people tell me I should slow down and not think so much. Well, those are good ideas, but if you don't have the understanding about how the whole system works, they're just good ideas. But once you've got understanding, you don't even need to do anything to put them into the practice. If the dog's chasing its tail, you say, hey, it's your tail. It's like, oh, okay, it's my tail, so how do I stop chasing it? If it says that, it doesn't understand. The moment it understands, it stops. Now, the reason I mention this is because your peace of mind and comfort in your own skin, your ability to be productive and make progress on the things you want to make progress on, your sense of purpose and direction, the only thing standing between you and that is a misunderstanding. And that's what we're going to be clearing up on the weekend of my next big event. Purpose, productivity, and peace of mind. So I look forward to seeing you there and sharing this information with you and making a difference in your life and helping you to make a difference in your own life and the lives of others. All the details below. You can get access here. Thanks for your attention.